So this next segment is going to be competitive cutlery, the competition, and also value. So if you're taking notes right now, you'd write down consumer psychology. That's really what we're talking about here. Now, yesterday we went through the 7 steps to a sale. And these are 7 steps in order to help someone make a comfortable yes decision. That's what we're talking about, right? Someone to help someone make a comfortable yes decision. These are the 7 steps. So under these umbrella, we went through the first 5 of those yesterday. What we're getting accomplished in those first 5 steps are questions that your customer is answering for themselves. The questions that your customer is answering for themselves are these questions right here. I would write these down. Okay, I would write these down. So the first 5 steps of your presentation is what is called value building. The second 2 steps of your presentation is called closing. So the first 5 steps is building value. The second 2 steps is called closing. Think of the first 5 steps as flirting. Flirting is the first 5 steps. The second 2 steps is getting the date. All right. So you could be great at flirting, but if you mess up on asking for the date, you can kind of blow your shot at taking that awesome person out. So we're going to show you, we're going to recap what we went over yesterday and the whys of what we did during the value building. And then we're going to show you exactly how to close as well. So the questions we're answering, and then we're answering before we get to the close. Why buy quality? Well, we talked about this yesterday. Why should someone buy quality? Well, will think about it. We know that quality is really good. We know quality is going to last. We know quality is worth it. We know quality is not going to fall apart. We know good stuff isn't cheap. Cheap stuff isn't good. We already know all of this. We are getting that accomplished so that way your customer knows all of this as well. See, this is what happens when someone buys Cutco.
I love my Cutco. I've been using it for many years, and it's been fantastic for entertaining. Perfect. Something I would definitely recommend.
Look at that smile. It's always a happy customer. It's always a happy customer. That's why we want to make sure that when you're doing your presentation and you're telling a customer how awesome the product line is and helping them see that quality is amazing. Now, when they're buying quality, okay, when we're buying quality, we also know one of the questions we're asking is it costs a lot of money to own high quality, right? It's not cheap stuff. Good stuff isn't cheap. Cheap stuff isn't good. We know that if they're going to invest in one of our most popular sets of Cutco, they're going to spend about the same amount of money they would to spend on a washer and dryer or a refrigerator or a MacBook Pro, or, if they want to install new countertops or, putting in new flooring, like whatever a case may be. We know that it's not going to be cheap stuff. It's going to be expensive, but they're going to have it forever. And as we talked about yesterday, it makes sense to get a set because they get the right tool for the right job. They get a built-in discount. They get free stuff. It's safer. Plus, they get a 5-payment plan. We know that it's more beneficial for a customer to get a set than it is to buy individual pieces. We know that things for the home, they don't cost hundreds. They cost thousands of dollars. See, do yourself a favor. If you look around your room right now, go ahead, take a look. Look around all the stuff that's in your room and in your house and look at all the things, and then ask yourself this follow-up question. How many of those things did I personally buy with my own money? How many of those things, the couch that you're sitting in, the chair you're sitting in, the bed that's in the room, the desk that you're writing on, right? Think about all the things that are in your home right now and think about how many of them you actually paid your own money for. It's probably not many. Even if it's the computer you're doing this training on, it's probably not many. Because things for your home are probably bought by the families you live with. Now, if it is bought by you, great. But if it's bought by the families you live with, especially if you're a college student, most of those things, they don't cost hundreds of dollars. They cost thousands of dollars. The bedroom set, right? Especially a lot of the electronics, the laptops and whatnot. Look at things for the home, things that families buy. What do the families buy? The refrigerator. If the refrigerator breaks, $1,000 or more. Washer and dryer, upgrading their countertops, upgrading their bathroom, upgrading their furniture, couches. Look at all those things that are in any home that you're going to do an appointment for. All of those things are thousands and thousands of dollars. So I want you to write this down. Don't act, think, or speak like a broke college kid. Don't act, think, or speak like a broke college kid. Because a broke college kid is going to think that like $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 is a lot of money. I don't blame him. When I was 18 years old, if I had $3,000, I would turn that into like $1 bills and I would like play with it. I would like make it rain. Like, are you kidding me? $3,000 was so much money. Not that it's not that much money right now, but it's not as significant as it was when I was 18 years old. Just like when you were 5 years old. Think about $5 when you were 5 years old. That was so much money. You know how much candy you could buy at 5 years old with $5? That is so much candy. But then when you get to 18 years old, $5, you can't even get a Chipotle burrito at $5. So $5 to the 5-year-old is like, $5 to the 18-year-old is like $1,000 to someone in our target market. $5 to the 5-year-old is like $1,000 to the 18-year-old. Because as you get older, the concept and the value of money changes. When you were in middle school and you got 20 bucks from mom, you're like, nice, 20 bucks, man. Snack cart comes around in middle school. You're like, I'm rich. Snacks on me. High school, 100 bucks in high school. You're like, 100 bucks. Let's go out. That's great. New pair of shoes, whatever it might be. But when you're in college, $1,000 is like, man, that's cool. Like I could get that cool electronic, I could get that video game. I go on that vacation. I'm good. $1,000. If you're like, I'm 35 years old. If all I had was $1,000 as a married 35-year-old man, I'd be freaking the hell out. Okay. So it's just important to keep this in mind. Also under the umbrella of don't act, think, or speak like a broke college kid is when you're sitting down with people in your target demographic, they have a little piece of plastic in their wallet called a credit card. And the way a credit card works is you swipe now and you pay for it later. Most of you only have a credit card for emergencies only. I don't know if you're with me, you might be able to nod your head. Like your parents might have got you like a joint card. It's like emergencies only. Grown-ups, we use our credit card for everything. And the reason why is because we get perks for using our credit card. We get mileage, we get points. I get 5% cash back every time I buy things on Amazon. 5%. So it's literally a 5% baked in the cake discount every time I shop on Amazon. Of course, I shop on Amazon a lot because I got 5% cash back and I'm using my credit card, not my debit card. I barely ever use cash for anything. I barely ever use my debit card for anything. Why? Because I get benefits for using my credit card. But when you're young, you get reprimanded for using your credit card. It's like, it's only for emergencies because you're at a different age bracket. So one of the things you want to keep in mind is every time you're sitting down with someone in your target market and doing a demo for them, you want to think like them. You want to talk like them. You want to act like them. So if you're say if you're like doing your appointment, ask them, like, especially if you're sitting down with like your aunt, be like, oh, auntie, I see in the background, the fridge looks amazing. Is that new? Oh, I see the granite countertops. Those are beautiful. Those look great, right? And you're complimenting things for their home. And what you're acknowledging for your customer is that they've spent not hundreds, but thousands of dollars on things for their home. Like if I took you on a little tour of my house, like we could walk next door, I'll show you the couch and I'll show you this little recliner. I could show you the table. I could show you all these things. And if you were like, oh, wow, that's really nice. I'd be like, yeah, $1,000, washer and dryer, a couple $1,000. Like it's just what it is. So I just want you to make sure you're thinking like the people you're showing Cutco to. So don't act, think, or speak like a broke college kid. Okay. Because things for the home, they cost a lot of money. And when you're sitting down with someone who owns a home and they've already spent things for their home once, they will do it again as long as they see the value. The next umbrella under consumer psychology is the upgrading concept. See, think about all of your customers. They had something way back when called a flip phone. I don't know if you guys were around for this. All right. But we used to have a flip phone, little Nokia, Motorola flip phone. And it was used was for calling and texting. Okay. And when the smartphone came out, all of us old people were like, what do I need a smartphone for? All I need a phone for is calling and texting. Why would I need anything else? If I want to take photos, I'll get a camera. If I want to use a calculator, I'll get a calculator. I don't need it on my phone. Can you imagine taking now all those features away from someone? Of course, it would be impossible. See, that's why we live in an upgrade culture. They upgrade from the flip phone to their smartphone. But this is something that's noteworthy. This is very important. You can use this concept when you're explaining this to your customers if you want. If you have someone that's really old fashioned, you just tell them like it's just like upgrading from your old phone to the new smartphone. At the moment, it might be uncomfortable, but when you're using your smartphone, you got the GPS, you got the calculator, you got the camera, you got your email, you got games, you got all this access at your fingertips. It's very hard to go back to your old phone. It's the same thing with upgrading to Cutco. At first, it might feel intimidating. It might feel expensive. It might feel excessive. But I promise you, over the next 30, 40, 50 years, you're not even going to be able to go back to using any other knives. That's why we upgrade. People upgrade their cars. People upgrade their couches. People upgrade their beds. We live in an upgrade culture. Some people upgrade their spouses. All right. So we upgrade things all the time. So it's important to keep that in mind, to think like the people you are showing Cutco to in your target market. So we upgrade all the time. Who wins when someone gets Cutco? Well, we showed yesterday, the factory worker wins. The customer wins. The people they recommend the company to wins. You win. Us managers win. Everybody wins. But does your customer understand that and see that? And when you read the training manual, you're accomplishing this. When you play the videos, you're accomplishing this. And lastly, we already said why invest in a set, right tool, discount, and free stuff saved for 5Pay. So as you are going through and explaining the demonstration to your customer, you are nailing each of these questions that your customer might have in their mind. And by you answering all these questions for them throughout the presentation, as you go through these 7 steps, by the time you get to step 5, the decision has already been made. They're already like, I'm going to buy something. They're already decided, I'm going to get something. If you can go through these 5 steps and answer these 5 questions, and how do you do that? You read and you smile and you play the videos. If you do that, you're automatically answering these questions. Now, some of these you need to think and act a certain way, which is why we said yesterday, you want to sell you. You got to sell you. You don't have to sell Cutco. Cutco sells itself. The videos will sell Cutco, but you just got to make sure you don't think, act, or speak like a broke college kid. The last segment of this I want to educate you on is the comparison of other knives that are on the market. Okay. I would take a screenshot of this chart. This chart, it really encompasses everything you need to know on why every single person in every neighborhood, every ethnicity, race, creed, religion, it doesn't matter, buys Cutco because of this chart. See, there's different types of qualities when it comes to Cutco. There's low quality, there's high quality, and then there's Cutco. Okay. But in anything, there's low quality and high quality. We talked about this yesterday, that when you want something of quality, how do you determine if it's low quality or high quality? The materials, design, and craftsmanship. That's what determines if it's low quality or high quality. If it's low materials, low design, low craftsmanship, it's going to be low quality. It's going to be a low price. It's going to be a bad product. That's how you could get a $10 ring from Tiffany's. If it's great quality materials, good design, high quality craftsmanship, you're going to be able to have a high quality product that's going to be expensive, but it's going to be a good value. That's why you get a $10,000 ring from Tiffany's. You get what you pay for. We already know this. So the problems with low quality, okay? Again, you could take some screenshots of these if you'd like. But when you're dealing with low quality knives, you're dealing with a product that either has plastic or wood handles. They have no tang or half tang or cheap construction that might fall apart in the middle of using it. They're going to use straight edges that constantly need sharpening or serrated edges that rip and tear. They do not have a guarantee. They're not dishwasher safe. They're usually unsafe because they could break in the middle of using them. They're cheap and they have a high replacement cost. So they're cheap today, but they're expensive in the long run. So you could get a cheap set today, but if you have to rebuy them over and over and over again, they're going to be very expensive. So why we go through this is we are going through this to create an awareness for a problem. Most people have a knife drawer that looks like this, but they don't know about the problems that exist. So that's why part of your job is to play that video for them and educate them. The video explains this, but I just want to make sure that you're educated. So if they ever ask you a question, you're educated. What are the problems? Wood handles. If you ever look at a wood handle and you look inside those rivets, they got that green, nasty ring around there. Cockroaches and ants can feed off those rings, that bacteria and food particles, for up to 2 weeks. It's disgusting. It absorbs the oils and bacteria and grease and sweat into the handle, and it stays absorbed inside the handle. Carbon steel rusts and corrodes. It's like cutting with a rusty tailpipe. It's disgusting. Then you have plastic handles with stainless steel. Plastic handles are low grade. They're slippery when wet. They chip, they crack, they break, they melt, they fall apart, they loosen. I have a customer has 8 stitches under his chin right here because he was using a knife like that and he was pushing down and it snapped out the handle, caught him right underneath his chin. He had to get 8 stitches because the knife was poorly constructed. So there are tremendous problems with this. Think about it. The average consumer is picking up a knife. How often? Sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. And if the knife is made to break and fall apart and they're using it, let's say once a day, that's 350 times a year. Over 10 years, that's 3,500 times. If we're going to pick up something 3,500 times over 10 years or over 10,000 times over a lifetime, wouldn't you want it to work? Wouldn't you want to make sure that it's not going to break in the middle of using it? Of course. Of course. That's why these are cheaply made, because they want you to break them. So you have to constantly buy them and replace them. So it's cheap today, but it's expensive in a lifetime. Stainless steel dulls. It dulls real fast. Think about a disposable razor. If hair is going to dull a razor, imagine what's going to happen to a delicate cutting edge on a hard cutting surface, like a hard cutting board or a plate. So stainless steel dulls real fast. It's also very difficult to sharpen. And then you have the tang, like I mentioned, the blade goes halfway through. It gets snapped very easily, so they're poorly constructed. So again, there's a lot of problems with these low quality knives. And you could go to Walmart, you could go to Target, you could find them by the name of Chicago or Farberware or Pampered Chef. You could find, oh, by the way, any of the celebrities, Rachel Ray, Paula Deen, Emerald, any of them on TV, all of them are low quality. Why are they low quality? Because they market the product at a price point that everyone can afford. So they put it at a very low price point. So how do they get a low price point? Is because they're using low quality materials, low quality craftsmanship, low quality design. That's why it's a low price point that everyone could afford, but it's a very cheap product and it's not very good. In fact, if you read Rachel Ray's blog, she uses an ultimate set at home for her personal use, but she has obviously her Rachel Ray knives that she sells and markets because that's what puts food on the table, that she cuts it with her Cutco. All right. So, but anyway, so those are the problems with low quality. You could get a full set of low quality for like $200. It might last you a couple years and you got to replace it every couple years. So you might spend, maybe $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 in a lifetime replacing low quality knives over and over again. So that's why a lot of people will go ahead and get high quality knives. Now, high quality knives go by the name of Wusthof, Henckels, or Schön. Wusthof, Henckels, or Schön. These are very good brands. You can find them at most of the high-end department stores like Williams Sonoma. I would write that down. William, like the boy's name, Sonoma, like the city. Williams Sonoma. Okay, Williams Sonoma is the top-rated kitchen store brand that you like. If you want to get anything for the kitchen, anything for the home, anything that's good quality, that's where you'll go. Williams Sonoma. You could go to Crate and Barrel. That's another good store where you can get high quality items for the home and for the kitchen. They're really good. Now, Wusthof and Schön, they're very, very good. They're very, very good brands of kitchen cutlery. They have polypropylene handles, which are very strong plastic material. They use nickel silver rivets, which is airplane part material. They use a full tank construction with surgical grade steel. They're very, very, very good. They're also very, very, very expensive because those materials are very expensive materials. So you can go out and get a full set of Wusthof or a full set of Schön, and you can get a full set for like $1,500 or $2,000. This is on Williams Sonoma's website. So Williams Sonoma's website, you could get a full set for like $2,000 or $3,000. This is the Wusthof Icon Blackwood. That set right there, the Wusthof Icon Blackwood. Like if I didn't sell Cutco, I would get that set. That's a great set. That's a great set of high quality kitchen cutlery. And these are some Christmas Black Friday specials, by the way. So like these aren't all the time. You can see $4,000 on sale for $2,800. That's a sick deal, right? That's a really good promotion. You can't get that all the time. But right now, if someone was going to buy a high quality set of knives, get it for, a holiday special to, you could get like $1,000 discounted on one of these sets. So if I were going to tell someone to go buy a set of cutlery and they did not want to buy Cutco for some odd reason, I would tell them to go buy one of these sets. And you cannot get one of those 3 sets for less than $1,500 to $2,000. It doesn't exist. But why would you want to go get a set that's high in quality? Because it's going to last longer. It's going to work well. It's actually going to do its job. You don't have to replace it all the time. So it's really good. The same reason why you might have good headphones versus cheap headphones, or the same reason why you might get a good pair of shoes or a cheap pair of shoes, or if you ever played sports, this is the good cleats versus the cleats that fall apart, right? Or if you ever, the good bat or the cheap bat, right? Like you know what I'm talking about. I'm sure you've experienced that before. So, here's a testimonial. Here's a gentleman who already owned Wusthof and then got introduced to Cutco. Here's what he has to say. Check this out.
Hi, this is Mason Linker, a Cutco sales rep, with a video testimonial of a customer.
Hi, my name is Paul. I've been using Henkel's and then I've been using Wusthof for years, and I go through them, I would say every year or two. I've got to buy a new knife because it won't hold an edge. I've got to sharpen it, then I've got to hone it before each use. They don't go in the dishwasher. I just bought this knife. The weight is amazing. I love the double D blade. This knife, I don't know what they're called, but and a pair of scissors. I think they're great. You can put them in the dishwasher. They've got the guarantee for lifetime, basically, that they'll replace it if it goes dull. I don't think you can beat it.
So what you just heard is this gentleman spent a couple of grand on these knives and then got introduced to Cutco and said, Cutco's better, so I bought some Cutco. Now that, in my opinion, that's just not right. Like, that's just not right. We want to help people get Cutco, because if not, once they learn about it, they're probably going to get Cutco eventually. You might as well help them get it now. Why? How does Cutco compare? So check this out. Look at the comparison. See, the problems that you're going to experience with high quality is they use a straight edge on them, so you have to constantly sharpen them. They have to be resharpened consistently. They're not dishwasher safe because the materials they use, the polypropylene, is only heat resistant to 150 degrees, where the thermoresin that Cutco uses is over 350 degrees, which is dishwasher safe. So they're not dishwasher safe. They're made overseas in Germany. What's the problem with that? The problem is if you need to use the guarantee, you got to mail it to Germany, and they only cover manufacturer's defect. No one's going to mail their knives back up to Germany. The risk of it being lost plus the expense, they're not going to do it. So there's, in Germany, by the way, and in Europe, it's really good. They're top rated in Germany and in Europe. But here in America, it's not advantageous. That's why Cutco, look at this. Look how it compares to the best in stores. Thermoresin, 350 degrees heat resistant. Nickel silver, same. Full tang, same. Surgical steel tang. Then we got the double D edge that stays sharp up to 10 years and can be resharpened. We got dishwasher safe materials. We're made in America, so they could use our forever guarantee and sharpening policy. And we have a forever guarantee, not a lifetime guarantee or a manufacturer guarantee, forever guarantee, so they never ever have to replace it. So when you compare Cutco to the best you could get in stores, does it matter how much we cost? No, because we offer something called buns, coming full circle to yesterday. Buy once, use daily, never replace, save money. The value is so much higher than the price that the price doesn't matter as long as they're educated. If a customer's educated that this is the best in stores, this is what low quality offers you if you have to constantly replace it over and over again, and Cutco offers this, the price doesn't matter. The price doesn't matter because the value is far greater than the price. Now, when is that value going to be the highest? The value is going to be the highest at the end of your presentation. So at the very end of your presentation is when the value is going to be the highest. And that's why you want to help someone make a decision today when the value is at its highest, because the only thing that value is going to do is going to go down. It never goes up. It's only going to go down. So it's like an ice cube. It melts. So when's the best time for someone to make a decision is when they have the highest value. So if someone ever says, I want to think about it, the best way to ever think about something is while you're actually using it. That's why car companies let the customer take their cars for a test drive, right? That's why Amazon lets you buy their product on Amazon, and then you can mail it back to Amazon if you're not satisfied. They have a great return policy, right? So, but they want you to buy now, get it today. Get it today because that's when the value is at its highest. There's a concept called law of diminishing intent, LODI, L-O-D-I, law of diminishing intent. If someone intends on buying, but they don't do it today, the value is going to go down. And then what's going to be higher than the value is going to be the price. So what we want to do is we want to remind them of the trial guarantee. Think about it while you're using it, right? We want to remind them of the free stuff they get today by trying it out. We want to remind them of all the features and benefits and build that value and help them make that comfortable decision. And just by putting the deposit down today, right? They don't have to pay for everything in full. They just put a deposit down to try it out. See, when I bought, I bought a laptop recently for a contest payout, and I tried to go cheap on it. And for a reason, it was a contest pay. I was like, all right, I bought a MacBook and I saw it on Woot. Woot is an Amazon like subsidiary. And I bought it on Woot and it was like $800. It was like $800 for an Apple. This is great. But the reason why I was willing to do that is because I knew Amazon's return policy. I said, if it sucks, I could return it. So I went to Woot, I bought the Apple, I bought the MacBook, and go figure, the microphone wasn't working. The microphone wasn't working. I knew, I'm glad I bought it on Woot because all I did with that, I printed out the label, returned the MacBook, and got my $800 back. The problem is I had to put down a full $800 to try it out. But what's beautiful about Cutco is if they wanted to try out $800 in Cutco, all they have to do is put down a fifth of that to try it out. They don't have to put down the full 800. So we make it as easy as possible so that way they don't settle in for Lodi. So remember, not now means never because that value goes down over time. So the best time to help a customer say yes is going to be at the end of the presentation. So you want to build that value as high as possible before you get into the comparison pricing and the negotiation. So that way they can make a comfortable decision. So answer all their questions during that part of your presentation right here, during the first 5 steps, answer all their questions, build up the value. So that way, when you get to the closing, it's an easy, comfortable yes decision. So let's go ahead and come up for some air. Go to your WhatsApp group right now, go to the WhatsApp chat, and let's go ahead and have you post your biggest light bulbs of that section of consumer psychology and sales philosophy.